Good evening, guys. Welcome back. Let's start our stand-up meeting, and Tatiana will be the first today.
Hello, everyone. Today I worked on my individual tasks on Jira, and that's it. I not completed it yet.
Okay.
No blockers.
Any problems?
No problems. Unfortunately, I have today job clearance and I don't have enough time to complete these tasks.
Job clearance with who?
With Olga.
Okay, so you take this job clearance even before you completed our internship?
Yes, I spoke with Anna and she told that this is не противоречит, no.
Doesn't contradict. Okay, but I didn't see your resume, so did you prepare your resume?
Yes, I prepared and sent to resume at partnov.com, but Anna said that I have to send my resume to you after I pass job clearance, just after that.
No? You have to send it to me before because you are going to demonstrate this resume to your interview.
Oh, understood. Okay, I didn't pass this interview today, yes, and I will reschedule it and I will send my resume to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can start working on updating your job resumes. You can send me your current resume and the summary of the project that you're working on, and I will update it for you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next will be Galina.
Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, I did not have time to do my homework for today, as I had to work on a project related to my current job. I need to finish it as soon as possible. So I'm a little behind at the moment, but I hope to finish everything over the weekend. Lack of time is the main blocker at the moment.
I understand. Since we are meeting during this evening time internship project, and I understand that you have to work, guys, but you will have long weekend, and today you are going to get a new assignment, so I hope that during this long weekend you will be able to catch up with your outstanding tasks. Thank you. The next is Aslanbek.
Good evening. Today I was able only to complete my task in Jira. I hadn't had a chance to watch any videos you suggested, so only those tasks are completed, and that's it for today.
Okay, good. Lisa?
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Galina. So as for today, I'm still working on my previous task, test automation exercises using Cucumber, because while I'm running tests, I got an error, something like Cucumber runtime Java object factory loader. So I will need your help. Maybe after class you can take a look.
Sure.
As for Java coding, I haven't completed because I have a lack of knowledge. So I started watching Silver Bootcamp's video, and I really hope that over the weekend I will finish all my assignments.
Okay, but today we're going to start working on WebDriver functions, writing. We will be working on a new feature file and new step definition file where we will apply knowledge of Java coding plus WebDriver functions. Okay, I hope that you really will be able to catch up. Nina will be the next.
Hi everyone. Today I finished my task with Java coding and looked at some links on the resource page. That's all, no blockers.
Good. Anna K.
Good evening. I completed my task in Jira and moved it into ready for review column. Also started practicing Java on W3 and watched part of the videos from Silver Bootcamp. That's it. Thank you.
Camila?
Good evening, everyone. So today I completed partially homework with the coding. So because I had zero experience with Java before, so what I'm doing is take me a lot of time because I'm like learning all the syntax and everything using different sources like W3 schools and other sources. And so far I completed 3 out of 5 that I think it's pretty like for myself, I think it's a good job. And I'm hoping to finish it during the long weekend because I really had a lack of time because I have a work as well. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. It is really important that you practice, guys. You definitely need to watch Slava's videos because he explains a lot about the theory. And we are going just practicing working on some scenarios and writing some code. Okay, and the next will be Artyom.
Good evening, team. I rewatched the entire lesson from yesterday, and I partially did the homework. I kind of started understanding how Java works, so that's about it. So it took me like I rewatched the class, then I rewinded it, then I tried to retype whatever we did in the class. So somehow I'm getting better understanding. No blockers.
Good. Sabrina.
Good evening, everybody. I did not have much time to do the homework today, but I'm just hoping the long weekend I can finish everything. I just started off, but I haven't completed anything yet.
So guys, I suggest that we are not going to review your results yet because some of you already completed, but very few, right? And the rest need some time to complete those tasks so we can review them tomorrow. Okay? All right, Dina will be the next.
Good evening, everyone. I rewatched the video from yesterday because I missed it. I did complete a couple of the tasks from Jira. I still have some blockers with the first exercise with comparison. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this one, but beside that, so far no blockers.
Okay, today I'm going to post the link again, so if you have any questions, please join us and we will try to resolve them. Michael will be the next.
Good evening, team. Good evening, Tatiana. Galina, I was working for 3 days, no homework, so I hope all these weekends will help me to finish. Thank you.
Okay. Kirill, we also missed you for a couple of our sessions.
Yes, hi everyone. I've been catching on with everything. I'm literally just a couple hours behind, and so once everything puts out, I will rewatch it. So I completed the API requests tasks. I've started on Java and XPath expressions. I just need to redo the XPath just because that's something new to me, and I haven't touched up on Java. I know the basics, so it would be easier for me to kind of get back to it. And no blockers.
Okay, I also hope that during this long weekend you will have time to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because next week we need to start working with our application so that everyone will get an individual task for automation of manual test cases that we have already created. And this is our ultimate goal for our project. Okay, thank you. The next will be Regina.
Good evening, everyone. So far I've checked the resources that were posted in the Slack on Java, and I've started on the homework, but I haven't had the chance to work on it too much today. So I am definitely planning to complete them by the end of this week.
Okay. Monday was a difficult day for you all, guys. Okay. Yulia will be the next.
Good evening, everybody. I was able to complete my homework, Java coding practice, and continue to watch Silver Bootcamp videos, and that's all. No blockers so far.
Okay, great. Arthur.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I've completed the Cucumber test automation exercise, and I need more time to complete my second assignment on the Java coding, and no blockers. That's it for me. Thank you.
Excellent. Shweta?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I completed my test automation exercise Cucumber and I moved it to review. I also completed Java coding practice and moved that for review as well, and no blockers.
Glad to hear that. Thank you, Shweta. And finally, Anna.
Good evening, everyone. So today all day I worked on my task. So I struggled a little bit with exercise number 4, but I read some additional information and completed it. And
what's number 4?
Yes, it is with switches and price and fruits, and I was a little bit confused, but I found my issues and was able to complete. And now I'm on exercise number 5 with array. So hope I will finish today after class, and I will upload my results.
Okay, so guys, let's agree that we will review your results tomorrow, and maybe even after the holidays, right? We definitely need to look into the results. Today we're going to start a new topic. Let me start the
recording in progress.
And we are going to finally apply our knowledge that we have acquired working with Selenium locators, working with Cucumber, a behavior-driven development approach to creating our tests, using Java basic programming knowledge to write step definitions for our scenarios. Today, we are going to look into Selenium WebDriver. So, Selenium WebDriver is actually a set of application programming interfaces developed for automating web applications. So, APIs connects to your browser, and it can simulate pretty much all the actions that usually the application user would normally do. And also it will provide the test results. All the actions, all the clicks, keyboard pushes, some input of the texts, and so on and so forth. So WebDriver has a set of functions that drive the browser. It is also used as an addition to other libraries. So you remember our framework structure, right? So it is based on using IntelliJ integrated development environment, right? We use Java programming language for writing our code, and our framework is extended by the libraries that are provided automatically by Maven. And those libraries include Cucumber, Selenium libraries, and Author.j that we're going to use for validation of the correct behavior of our application. I would also need to mention that Selenium is a free open source test automation library, and therefore it is very popular nowadays. And it is used to automate web environments. So 3 basic parts of this tool, this automation tool: Selenium IDE. This is a browser add-on to record and play back some actions. Selenium WebDriver and Selenium Grid for distributed testing on different environments. So Selenium supports different programming and scripting languages. So we are using Java, C# is also supported, Python, Ruby, PHP, Perl, and JavaScript. Basically all programming languages. So WebDriver architecture is made up of 4 major components. Let me make it bigger. So first of all, it is Selenium client library. Second part is JSON wire protocol over HTTP browser drivers and real browsers. So the first part, Selenium libraries, it is important because different programming languages, they can have their own restrictions. So developers created those Selenium client libraries or language bindings to support different languages. We are using browser drivers in Java, and therefore Selenium in our framework will use Java bindings. So binding is an application programming interface that provides the code specifically to allow a programming language to be connected to use a foreign library or some service that is not native to this programming language. Okay, now data communication. So to communicate between the server and the client, our browser, Selenium is using JSON. JSON wire protocol is also a REST API that is responsible for transfer of the information between HTTP servers. And each browser driver has its own HTTP server. And what is the browser driver? It is the custom clients, or we can call it headless browser, that acts like an assistant to the real browser that communicates with the respective browser. So when any browser driver receives a command, it will execute it on that respective browser, and it will send an HTTP response. So you see that every browser has its own specific browser driver, and it is done for secure connection. So in other words, the workflow is as follows. Selenium script creates an HTTP request for every command and sends it to the browser driver over a JSON wire protocol. And browser driver is receiving this HTTP request and sends it to the real browser. The real browser receives this request from the browser driver, operates right on the some resource according to this request. And real browser responds to the browser driver with the result, with some expected output. And then browser driver returns the output to the client, again, over the same JSON wire protocol. Okay, so is it clear what is the browser driver, guys? Okay, I would like to demonstrate one more time. 1 second. Let me open another project that we used previously. Let me open this one. One second. No, not this one. This one. All right. So this is one of the projects that we used previously. And you see that we had in our project structure a separate folder for drivers. And every browser driver needed to be downloaded into our project structure. And it is actually an executable file. And every real browser needs its specific version. And you know that since we mostly were working with the Chrome browser, right? And it is updated automatically. So at a certain point, our test would fail. And it would show the error message that it needs another version of the Chrome driver to be downloaded and added to the project. So in our new version of the project, you remember, guys, here it is configured in the text context. Our WebDriver manager is responsible for updating those browser versions. So we do not need this executable file. So Maven is supporting all the necessary browsers and browser versions. Any questions about the basic components of the architecture of Selenium? Hello, guys. All right. So which browsers does Selenium support? Of course, Chrome. And it has its component browser driver, Chrome driver, Firefox driver, Edge, Internet Explorer, Safari, Android and iOS for tablet and phone. There are two options. You can use emulator and drive it on the emulator Android or simulator iOS. And one more, HTML unit. It is not an actual browser, but it also emulates the browser. It does not open upon the screen. So HTML unit is not connected to any device. It is just a set of functions. It is basically built in JavaScript. It does not have a real screen, and it is called headless browser. You can run the test, and it will give the result pass or fail. And of course, it will be much faster. However, using HTML unit does not guarantee 100% behavior of the real browser. So if you need to run the quick tests, you probably go with headless. But in most cases, you need something real, like Chrome driver. And Chrome is, in our case, is the most stable. Testing is done based on, in our case, on Chrome driver. Okay. Let's again go to our test context file, which is Java class that is responsible for initializing our WebDriver. So we first have to declare this, and it is private static WebDriver. This is our declaration of our driver. And static method, it is declared with static keyword. So if we have this static keyword, it means that the method or variable are associated with the class itself, but not with a specific object created from this class, like instance of this class. And so if you have declared the with the word static, you don't have to create an object. You can use static defined by the class. In this case, you don't need to use this WebDriver driver new WebDriver function. Okay, so like here we initialize new Chrome driver. Okay, so you see that we have different options. Java switch statement initializes browser-specific driver, and in case Chrome, WebDriver Manager will set up the home driver, and it will specify some specific options of this browser driver. You see it will maximize the screen, prompt for download, and I even don't need to know all those options. As I said, senior test automation engineers would be responsible for configuring this specific file, or it can have another name, but usually it is a Java class to initialize our driver and specific configuration of browser drivers. All right. So, what else? Okay, so we initialize, right, our driver, and we tear down this in order to close this. And you remember that those two functions are mentioned in our hooks Java. So guys, today we're going to operate with the browser, right? Therefore, we need to uncomment our hooks file. And to do that, I need to use Control A and Command / so that we will be able to run our scripts. So here we initialize our browser, and at the end of our execution of every scenario, we close the browser with this function tear down. Okay. So in Java, we do not access. Yes?
Excuse me, and what combination you're using to remove the commenting on the entire hooks file?
Okay, so you need to select all the text and use Command or Control if you are a Windows user, Control and /.
That's
Control Alt /.
No, in my case, I'm using Mac, so it's Command and /, and it goes back and forth, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Now, so we do not access the variable directly. We use the getter and setter methods. So those methods are used for retrieving and updating the value of our variables, also known as accessor and mutator in Java. So you remember we also use those get and set, right, in our JavaScript experience. So by using getter and setter, we can control some important variables in a correct manner, so that those values of this variable will be modified within some specific range. Therefore, we access WebDriver not directly driver, but with the method getDriver. Okay. So if a method starts with get, it will be a read-only method, and it will return some value back. And a lot of methods will start with this get. Example, get text, get URL, get title, get current URL. And if the method starts with is, it is also read-only, but in this case it will return true or false. And you can use those Boolean methods in our conditional statements, if-else statements. And examples, we also use them: is displayed, is present, is enabled, is selected, is equal to. Okay, so here we have some examples of those WebDriver methods. And this is a nice graph that were created by Slava Scriabin. And you can use this as a cheat sheet. This is really neat, especially if you are new to Selenium methods. So essentially, if you look at this graph, you see that the WebDriver functions, they always start with this getDriver first, right? And they remind you a tree directory. When you want to use some functions, you should follow some specific path that is shown here by an arrow. And following this path, you will be able to achieve some specific action in the WebDriver. For example, if you want to maximize your window, you always have to start with the getDriver. Then you go to the next important step, manage, then window, and then maximize to come to the end goal. Okay, if you deal with some elements, you need to start with getDriver first function, then find element, and then you will be able to implement some action. You can send keys or get text, click, and so on. So definitely you can use this as a cheat sheet. Okay, when we start working with some scenarios, with some real examples, I'm sure you will feel more comfortable using this list of functions. Of course, it does not contain all the functions that exist, but this is a good start. And the most often used methods are shown here in the bold text. We also have this JavaScript executor. You remember in such cases when our locators that we created with XPath do not work with Selenium WebDriver and we click on some element with no result, you can use JavaScript executor to perform any action on a web element. And you remember it may happen when the element will be out of the boundaries of the page. It is not shown, right? Or it is closed by sticky header or sticky footer. Okay, so I think it is time for us to go to our project and we can start practicing using those Selenium functions. So let's create a new feature and we will call it WebDriver. Good feature. And we will add it to our index. Let me know when you are ready to proceed. Okay, so at the feature level, we will use WebDriver tag, and the first keyword, as usual, will be our dot feature. Feature, we start typing feature. 1 second. And we complete this WebDriver scenarios. Will be our feature name. And then we will create our first scenario. And we will call it WebDriver methods navigate. And the first step will be navigate to some page. So we already have some predefined steps to open the browser at a certain URL, right? But we need to change the wording of this step that we are going to create from scratch, right? Therefore, we have this given I and we have this I open, right? So let's change the wording. Given I navigate through, and we definitely need to provide some part of the URL. Let's do Google. And we will have this electric bulb showing that we need to create the step definition for this step. Okay, we will create a new file which will be WebDriver step defs, and we need to select Java and add it to the definitions folder. You remember that all our step definitions should be located in definitions according to the requirements, right, provided in test runner. Definitions and OK. And I will add it here. And this method public void I navigate to string has been created. Guys, do you follow me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we need to change the argument 0 to some meaningful name, and we already did this for printing out the URL for some websites, right? So you remember that. So what will be the appropriate URL or page or website? Which do you prefer? URL, okay. So now we have the variable that hasn't been defined, hasn't been mentioned in our script, and it is kind of grayed out. All right, now we need to create the step, right? So what will be, if we go to our cheat sheet, we have to start with that driver method, get driver, and then get. Okay, let's start typing get driver. And you see that we need to import this getDriver method from our test context. So it has been defined in our test context. If I start typing test context dot getDriver, since we initialized this function in getDriver, we need to add it, right? And then I can continue getDriver get, and then the string for URL will come into the parentheses within double quotes, and it will be http google.com. So you see this text context. So I can deal with that, but I want my scripts to be shorter. So if I delete this test context, I will have to import static method that was already defined in my test context. And it will be imported into my file, right, as import static support test context getDriver. And now I will have to just use this getDriver method without mentioning test context. So I can do like that, or one more time, I will delete this one and I will again request something. Or I can, you see, it is highlighted and it gives me the hint. Test context, getDriver, and you see I can use the shortcut. In my case, since I am the Mac user, I can use Option and Enter key, and it will be added against import static method. Okay, getDriver, and then I continue get, and again HTTP. Okay, something that is not used in imports is grayed out, so I don't need this one. Okay, now I'm going back to my WebDriver feature, close everything else, and try to run it. Okay, and then I will add and I wait for 2 seconds just to make sure that my browser is open. Okay. But what if I want to use more than one browser, guys? How can I make my code reusable for some other websites? What are possible options to make it reusable? I'm waiting for your input. Can you guess?
We need to change WebDriver or browser driver?
We need to add either comparison with multiple options, right? or switch? What do you prefer? Switch or conditional statement?
Conditional.
Okay, then conditional statement will start with if, right? If URL equals, and here I can compare it with Google, right? Then this line of code in curly braces will go inside those pair of braces. If URL equals Google, then get driver open URL at this, open page at this URL. Okay, what else? Else if and you see, since I use this variable in my codes, it is no longer grayed out. It is now black. If URL equals, and I compare those two, Yahoo, okay, I add one more line of code, get driver, get URL, and Yahoo. And we can check it out, so I will change this one for Yahoo and run it.
Galina, I have an error message starting from the previous step even.
Okay, I believe that you need to first unhook, right, your hooks file, not unhook but uncomment, make sure that it is.
I did it already.
Then go to run, edit configurations, and check that in glue you have both support and definitions.
Edit configuration. In run, edit configuration. Could you please show again where is in run? Where should I open in run?
Okay, so here at the top,
Run. Run.
Then you scroll down to edit configuration.
Yes. Okay.
Open it up and see that in glue you have both support and definition.
Okay, I just need to type it in.
Make sure that the spelling is correct.
Galina, I checked, I have these support definitions, but something wrong with my hooks. I uncommented it, but it is still blue. I see that your name black hooks.java, but mine is still blue.
It means that you changed something there. Can you share your screen?
Yes, of course, 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
No.
So what is this? What is the two windows?
I open my hooks and this is opens.
Okay, close this. Click on this one. And open your you have an error message in WebDriver step definitions, therefore it is
Yes, but before I checked these hooks, and I cannot run first query.
Can you open your hooks file?
Yes, this is my hooks.
This is your hooks. Scroll up to the top. And you see on the first line, you have this green line. Click on that green line and use this rollback.
This?
Yes, rollback lines. Scroll down and maybe you have something else there.
No, that's it.
Okay, it should be working. Now go back to your WebDriver step definitions. Step definitions. It shows the error there. So after http://google.com on line 12, click enter and add. Okay, what's wrong? If else if add one more curly brace. First of all, if URL Google equals Google, you need to add on line 11, open the curly brace and then close. Okay, now it is good. Else if URL equals Yahoo, then you will provide text context get driver, or you can delete text context, and you see you no longer need this text context on line 12. You can delete it completely. It's still working, but it is redundant now. Delete T. Okay. And on line 14, click enter at the end and type your code. Get driver get yahoo.com. Dot get http yahoo.com. And now go to your WebDriver.feature and run it. Okay, now go to your run and edit configurations. Run, support and definitions. Okay, click on OK, and let's read your error stack. Please no. Make it bigger so that I can see your the results. I don't see your complete results. Okay, warning, use deprecated reflections, exceptions and thread main, add cucumber run and glue step definitions. Duplicated step definitions. You see? You have duplicated step definitions that you are not allowed to have. Can you move so that we can identify where your duplicated step definition exists? No. In the results page, you can move the scroll bar to the right, utmost right. I convert foot to centimeters. You have two and predefined steps. So you have your duplicated steps. I convert foot to centimeters. Go to your Java coding feature and delete it.
Okay, and I don't need to change anything in hooks Java, yes?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. 1 second.
Just comment out your Java step definitions and try to run your, then we will define your duplicated steps. You need to make sure that your WebDriver function is working.
Okay.
And it is not working because you have duplicated steps somewhere.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, are we good to go? All right. Then
Galina, excuse me.
Yes.
I stuck on, I don't know, on first step just right now because I'm not sure. Can I share screen just to show?
Please do.
I tried to create this.
Okay, probably you didn't select. 1 second. Can you close this one? Because it is not the one that we need.
This one.
You need to delete this WebDriver step definitions.
Yes, I deleted. I already tried to.
You did not delete this one. Right click and delete.
Yes, I already did it. And I tried to do it again.
Let's create it together.
Okay.
Create step definition.
Yes.
Create a new file.
Yes.
Name it. And we agreed that Java classes are always starting with capital letter. Capital. WebDriver should be capitalized. And you select, okay.
Maybe it's because Java 8.
Java 8 was selected, yeah. Select Java.
Or it should be Java.
It should be Java. And you add definitions. And click OK. And add.
Oh.
And now it is good.
Oh, yes.
Don't forget to change Java 8 because Java 8 was using regular expressions and Java 11 is using cucumber expressions, which is more user-friendly.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Any more problems, guys? All right. Then we can add one more website, right? This is our quote page. We definitely will need it. Let's add it to our step here. It will be also one more else if clause. If URL equals quote, then we will use get driver, get this URL. What shall we put in else clause? We will instruct the system SOUT, print a line, this website, and we will indicate this website. Is not supported. Okay, And if I, for example, want to use wiki and run it one more time, I will get that this website wiki is not supported. Okay.
Galina, can you show your step definition file, please? Thank you.
Don't forget to use those shortcuts, right? Command and left mouse click, and you will be navigated to this line where you declare this method.
Thank you.
Okay. Now a new step in our scenario. Will be I print page details. Let's do this. Given I navigate, when I print page details. And we don't have the step yet, so we need to add this to our WebDriver step definitions. So we don't have any variables in our step, but we have to create some step based on our cheat sheet. So what can I get from this functions, from this methods? I can get page title. I can get current URL as well. Let's do it. Get driver again, right? And it is already imported, and when we start typing, we can use this method shown in the drop-down list, right? Get title, but so that we see this title printed, we need to print it out. So again, we will use system print out, get driver, get title. Same for current URL. System print out, get driver, get current URL. And we also get the hint both from our get window handle, and it also shown here as well. Get driver, get window handle. Okay, so what is the window handle, guys? So here we have several windows opened, right?
URL.
Several tabs in our, or several windows. So the driver assigns some ID to every window that is shown. And it is some alphanumeric string that is generated. And Selenium uses this unique ID to switch from one window to another. So let's run this scenario and get the page details for Google. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we have the page title Google, current URL this one, and the window handle. Now we can reuse the steps that we have already created, right? When I navigate to Yahoo, and I print page details, and again I will wait for some time. Let's make it less. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so now we have 6 steps, right? And we have page title, current URL, window handle, Yahoo title, current URL, and actually it is the same window handle, right? Because it is opening one and the same window. So 2 sites are open in one and the same window.
Galina, can you show Java?
Yes.
Galina, can you repeat the importance of the handle? window handle?
A window handle can have several frames, right? Or multiple windows. Like here in our application, we have this iframe, and we also have different windows. If I click here on the related documents, the new window will be open, right? And if I want to verify some text on this new window, I need to switch to that window. And we have the step created in our predefined steps. I switch. Okay, let me call it. Actually, I need to do it from here. I switch. When I switch to new window. If we look into the step that was created for us, you see that we have a code here that instructs the driver to get all the window handles, right? And to go through those window handles from one to another, and it will check the those window handles numbers. Okay, so it is important so WebDriver need to use the window handle to address to some specific window, and it is done by this unique ID. So it gets the window handles for all the windows that are open, and then it will switch from one window to another.
Kalina, I have a question. If by the script we need to switch from window to window, and we are not using this Slavas code, we need to first get the handle numbers?
You always have to, right? So in order to switch to iframe, we use, it is simple, right? We just need to use the xtas for this iframe, the ID or name of this iframe. But if we are working with Windows, we need to use window handles. If it is only one, then you will use it and you will switch to it, right? If there are more than one, then you have to address all of them. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's do our WebDriver feature. And we printed our page details. Now we have more functions here for navigate, right? So we can navigate back and forward, and we can refresh. Let's do this exercise as well. So we will create a step. Then I go back, forward, and refresh. Refresh the page. Again, we don't have the step yet, and we need to create a new step definition. No arguments to this method, but we will use getDriver. GetDriver. And it goes, so it will be shown here as well, right? We need to navigate and go back. Then we use WebDriver, navigate, and forward. And then we refresh WebDriver, navigate, and refresh. We can also maximize, right? But it will be a different one. It will be WebDriver, manage window, and maximize. Let's do it. We didn't indicate this, but it doesn't matter. Let's still maximize. WebDriver, manage window, and maximize. Or full screen, whatever. All right, let's go back and run it one more time. Okay, so we got it. Let me know when I can move on. Are we good, guys? Are we good to go?
Yes.
Just a minute, please.
Okay.
So, Galina, the scenario is it's opening Google, then opening Yahoo, then it going back, forward, and refreshing.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm ready to start working on the second scenario. Don't forget the tag. And now we will be working with our quote page here, and we're going to validate the email field. So you guys already have your Cucumber scenarios, right? for this email field verification. Can you remind me what we did there? Hello?
Which field, Galina?
Email.
Yeah, so to check the email field and its functionality, first I entered just text without any specific email features, like just text ABC,
Okay.
and clicked out of the box and then confirmed that it shows that it's not a valid email.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so in our scenario, there was another step, right? When we cleared the form and another error message was displayed, right?
Right. Yeah, it cannot be.
And finally, we provided the correct email and checked out that the message was no longer displayed. Okay. So now, so you were using those predefined steps where you put your XPath expressions in Cucumber scenarios, which is not correct. It is not that test automation engineer would do. XPath expression would go into Java code, and we are going to find our elements using those XPath expression or some other element locators, right? Now we are going to reform our Cucumber scenarios into proper format. So let's do this. And our scenario name will be again quote page, right? Quote. Email field verification. Email field behavior. Okay, we start with the keyword given, and we are now going to use our step that we have just created. I navigate to quote. We already provided the option for our web page here, and then we can input some text into our email field, right? When I type some text, something incorrect, email. Into email field. Of course, we don't have this step yet, but we will create it now. Now WebDriver step definitions. And here we have this argument because we provided the value in our step, in our Cucumber step. So what will it be? What will be the good name for our variable? Data type is string. The value is incorrect, email. So what will be the name of our variable? We have to provide the name.
Email?
Email. Good. And again, we start with getDriver. Need to interact with the element, right? So, and we use this arrow to find this element, and we will send keys into this element. Okay, so getDriver dot find element. So we have two options here. We have find element by, right? And we have find elements by. So in the first case, it will return web element, right? In the second case, it will get the list of web elements. Of course, we need just one web element. So I click here. And inside, we get a hint, right? We start typing capital letter B, and we will select the most appropriate option. So we can use by ID, by name, by class name, all those by XPath here, right? We have both options. We definitely need to click on this. So we agreed that we still practicing of working with XPath, although this will be probably a good opportunity to use name, right? So I can, instead of using by XPath, again, by name, and in parentheses, in quotes, I can use name, email. So it also be possible. And then I need to get one more dot, right? And send keys. So what goes inside those parentheses, guys?
An incorrect email.
And incorrect email is defined here, right?
Right.
What shall we use here inside the parentheses? The variable name, right? As soon as I add it to my script, it is no longer grayed out, so it is the variable that has been used. And the value will be can be updated here. You can put any value. Correct, incorrect, any options for incorrect, right? We can add, I don't know, checking some special characters, numbers, so different valid formats that are allowed by this or that application. So different options will be checked here. The variable values will go inside our feature file. And in our WebDriver step definition, we will address to this by the variable name. All right, let's go back and we will add some wait time. And let's see how it is working. For the first time, when I need to run this one, I need to click inside the scenario, right click and run. Or you have those double arrows here. I don't have it. Probably I'm using a different version of IntelliJ. If I run it from here, you see my WebDriver methods will be still running. It even shows the name of my recent scenario. I need to run it from here. Okay, so it's typed the value that I wanted in the input. Okay. So I typed my incorrect email here. But okay. I didn't click anything, right? But it will not happen with test automation. Okay, so you see, before I submit the form, right, or I click somewhere else, the error message will not be triggered. So the next step that I need to add to my software will be, and I submit the form. Okay, when I type and I submit the form, it means that I need to click on submit button. Okay. If I start with get driver, find element, Y, ID form submit. Okay, again I can copy this and add it to my script. By ID form submit. Okay, and then I will select the appropriate method, WebDriver method, which will be click. Okay, let's see. Alright, so the error message is shown. Now let's identify this error message locator. So it will be ID email error. So we can use ID or we can use XPath. Let's do XPath for a change, right? So it will be label with attribute ID, email error. And if we change this one for the wildcard, still be good. Alright. Okay, then then we need to write the step definition that this message is displayed. Then it will be our output. Then message, email error message, email error message should be displayed. get driver, find element by fix that. Then we scroll down and select is displayed, and that's it. I think we need by here. But we need to make sure that the condition is true, right? So we need to do the assertion. And so WebDriver allows us to use another library. And here we have this library, assert J library, for performing the assertion. So,
okay, would you please turn off your mic? Thank you.
So we need to import this method, right? And again, we start typing assert that, and we will have this option, click or press, and we, again, it is not correct, assert that. Let's do this. Assert that. So make sure that you are using the correct spelling, right? In every case, you were prompted to create this new method, which is not correct. We need to import this method from the libraries provided for us by Maven, right? This library is here in our external library, and we need to import this. And it will be, again, our static method so that we do not take all the time. So we will click on here, import static method, and we will look through assertion that, assert J, library core API, this one. And Maven will provide it for us.
Galina, can you show again how you got this message to import?
And it will be imported, right? And again, if it is static, then we don't need to type everything. Assertions, assert that. Just assert that will be enough. Okay, I will do that one more time. So I will delete this one, and it will be highlighted again. So click on this red message, click on this bulb, and import static. Click on that, and look for assert J, org, assert J core API. Assertions, assert that. Click here, and it will be imported for us. Since you imported this, it will be available. And then we will add it, just add this one here. We will close this parenthesis at the end. And then we need to make sure that this assertion is true.
Galina, could you please explain what's the method one more time? Assert
that. Okay, one more time. So we identify this GetDriver method, right? But we need to make sure that the system will provide the test results, whether it is true or false, right? And we use a AssertJ core API library that is already here in our external libraries here. But we need to import this library into this specific Java class. So I start typing. I know that I need AssertJ. Assert that. Assert that. Open and close this again. Assert that. Okay, here. But it is not recognized, right? We need to... What's wrong again? Assert that. Click here. Space to open preview. Okay, I already have it, right? So I need to delete this one again. And now it will show me. It cannot resolve before I import this. Import static method. I click on this and I need to look through for available options provided by Maven. I'm looking for AssertJ core API. Assertions, assert that. I click. It is imported as static. Assert that method. And now, similar to GetDriver, I don't have to edit, right? And now I will just update my step here. And that's it.
Galina,
yes.
Can I ask you, this is true, is red in my case?
Make sure that you have this double closing parentheses. So we open assert that, and this function, right? GetDriver find element.
Oh, I lost my GetDriver.
Goes inside this parenthesis, and after that we use one more method to make sure that it is true. Okay, but we also can check the text of this error message, right? And we need to create the step for that. Something like the message or error message. Error message. Error message, and we can provide the error message, the text of this error message. Please enter valid email address. Should be displayed. Okay, let's create the step definition for that. So again, we have one argument here, which will be message. It will be message. So how do we get this message using our WebDriver methods? Get driver, find element, and get text. So we already found the ID of this locator of this element. Now we need to get text. And then compare this text to our message. So, okay, let's add the step here. Again, get driver. Find element by XS. Actually, it is this one. Find element by XS. And then get driver, find element by XS. We need to add one more closing parenthesis here, and then get text. Okay, so we can create a new variable and assign this value that we get to this new variable. And what will it be if we are working with text? What will be the data type?
String.
Okay, so it will be string. It can be actual message that we see on the page, right? Actual text. So we created this new variable, which is data type string, actual text. And this is the value of our actual text, right? Get driver, find element by email error, and get text from it. And now we need to do assertion. Assert that actual text, and since we already created this, it is our variable, equals our message. That's it. And it's supposed to return true or false. Let's check it out. All right.
Galina?
Yes.
I have a question about this assertion. In first assertion, we used is true, but in the second, don't we use is true, or it's not?
You can also add it. It is possible. But by default, this equals returns true or false already.
Ah, okay, get it.
Is displayed is not returning true or false, right? But this equals is supposed to return true.
Galina, in this time, assert that is highlighted in my case in Java.
If you have
I added somewhere
import static this field, then it should not be highlighted anymore.
You know, I have this yellow bulb and it says we go press Alt and.
Okay, can you please share this?
See, it's highlighted.
It is not highlighted. Assert that it is correct. Just go to your WebDriver feature and run. Then email message should be displayed. Let's see what you have in this step. Invalid selector, unable to locate an element with this XPath expression. Can you go?
Maybe I wrong. I type something. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Run it one more time.
Yes, I'll fix it just.
Okay. So don't be afraid of those errors, right? You just need to go through the error stack that is displayed in test results, and you will identify which line of code to go and where you have to correct. And the line of code that is affected will be highlighted in blue. Let me show it to you. So if I use this incorrect like you had, right? Let me run it. Okay, so we have those lines of information, this error stack, right? And this will be in blue, WebDriver step definitions, right? This is my Java code, and this is the line of code and feature file which is affected. So if I click on this line, I will be navigated to this line of code in my Java step definition file, and I can correct it. Okay, now it will be running. Okay, now what else? We need to clear our field to get a new error message, right? So I clear this. And then I'm getting a new text of my error message. Let's add more steps to our scenario. When I clear the email field, get driver, find elements by XPath, and it will be by name email, right? I can use again XS. So stick to something, to some one option. Either you're working with XS expression, but in real life, again, test automation engineers, they're working with combinations of those, right? So since you are new to this, you can stick to something unique. Okay, so it will be my XS input my name. Okay, so find element by XS. And then I have to select the screen. Alright, then I will reuse, then error message should be displayed, right? I can actually use both, copy and paste both, but I will change the text of this error message. And it will take the new text that is going to be displayed and validate, assert that the text that is retrieved from the page as the actual message, right? So we already created this, and we can change the value of our variable message. So we created the step that can be reused. Okay, let's run it. Okay. And finally, we need to write the step with the valid email address, right? When I type correct email.com. Into email field. You see, it is now recognized. What will be our expected result? Then email error message should not be displayed, right? Then email error message would be displayed. So we already have this, right? We will start with assert that get driver find element by XS, and we can copy and paste this.
No, Galina, it's email error.
It's email error. That's what we're looking for. We need this email error.
Okay, got it.
ID email error. Okay, find element. Here is displayed, right? And now we need to make sure that it is
false.
It is false. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so we wrote the scenario and provided the step definitions for this scenario using Java and WebDriver methods. Guys at home, you will convert your Cucumber scenarios that you created for this quote page, right, into using Java and WebDriver methods, okay? This will be your homework. Any questions? Any problems?
Yes, I have problems.
Okay.
Can I share my screen? can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
In this step, when I type incorrect email, I click on this one, and I can't figure out what's the problem.
When I type string into email field, WebDriver find element by name and send gives email. Incorrect email. Can you make it bigger so that I can read your error stack?
Oh, this one? Okay.
The red text below.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No such element. Unable to locate this element. Method CSS. Can you use, okay, CSS selector it says, right? Again, use the scroll bar to show me the utmost right, not this one, the bottom one. And again, scroll up, CSS selector, name, email. It is not the CSS selector. Change it to XPath. Find element by XPath and provide the correct XPath expression.
Yeah, okay.
Try to change the locator, okay? And then
Okay.
it will work.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I wanted to show you guys one more Cucumber key word, and actually it is the combination, right, of keywords, and you already noticed that it exists. We can convert our scenario into scenario outline. For example, if we want to provide multiple data sets, right, we can parameterize our variables, and we will be using our scenario outline with examples. For example, we need to check different email formats, and only in with invalid formats we'll get certain error messages, right? So I will copy and paste this lines of code where we get the error messages, right? And then I will create a new scenario. It will be my WebDriver 3. It will be my quote email field behavior verification outline. So I need to change the scenario name because in our sandbox run, right, our scenarios are recognized by this scenario name. Okay, and here I'm getting this bulb that I can convert this scenario into outline. I click on that, and I'm getting the variables here, and values of the variables go inside the examples tab here. But I definitely don't need variables for my destination page, right? So I will probably skip on that. So I will use this one and the same. Then I type incorrect. So email variable name is good and message is also good. So message and message. Okay, so I will delete this message 1 and message 1. And I will just use message. And this URL also is not needed anymore. So I will have only 2 pairs of keys and values, email and message. Okay, and I don't need this one. Error message 1. Okay. So I updated my scenario, and here I will be able to add different values and to add more lines. What key combinations I would use, guys, to duplicate the line? Remind me. Command D. Command D, Command D, Command D. So incorrect email, right? So I can use incorrect email like this, or I can use something like this. With spaces, trailing spaces, anything, right? And then you will be able to check the error message. And if I use just the empty input here, you see, no text between the quotes, what error message I will get? This field is required. So I will copy the last one and add it to my screen. And I can use the tab to make it format so that it looks accurate. Okay? Okay, and now if I run this scenario, and again it will be run from here, scenario outline, I will have 4 iterations of one and the same scenario with different values, with different variable values. And it will check the text of my error messages in the first place. And the same for the happy path, right? You definitely can check different expected values of valid email format. You will check the number of digits before the @, the number of digits possible after @, the maximum input number of this field, special characters that are allowed. So according to our requirements, right? So you will probably have 2 scenarios outlined, one for the happy path, right, for the valid format, and another one for the invalid format. Does it make sense? Hello?
Yes.
Does it work for you? Were you able to convert this scenario to outline?
It didn't work for me.
Okay, let's look into your script. So, error message. Okay, you see you have this undefined step. Delete message 1. You delete number 1 from your line 38. In the angular bracket.
It's message 1 was, yeah, that's why. Okay, thank you. Yeah, looks good now.
Okay. So guys, I know that you were working on writing the scenarios using WebDriver methods in class, right? But we also have people who are not from the class. So create all possible options for this quote page, right? Write your scenarios for validating all possible fields. Try to write this date of birth scenarios using this date picker. So practice with this, okay? It will definitely be very, very useful for you guys.
Офигеть.
And in the meantime, I suggest that we go to this converter. You remember that on our first class when we practiced with XS, we had this converter.
Karina, you're not sharing screen.
1 second, I will. Unit converter. And we can automate this converter as well. Let's create a new scenario feature file for converter. New file, which we'll name converter. Feature. Unit converter, right? Unit. And our first scenario. We will validate temperature conversion. From Celsius to Fahrenheit. We need to write the first step given, or we can put it into the background, right? We can do it, and it will, the background always goes if we have several scenarios, right? That will be using some common steps. Then the opening page will go into our background, and it will be here given. I navigate to converter page, right? And it goes to inside the quotes converter. So the step is defined, but if I run it, right, like that, it will say that the converter page is not supported. So let's add this site to support it. So I will copy and paste this URL, and I will go to my step definition, and I will add one more else if clause. Else if URL equals converter. Get driver. Get this, open this site. Right. Now we need to click on the temperature, right? Let's identify this. Element locator. Which is A. Doesn't have. We can use it by text, right? Still not recognizable. Okay, it will be our A that has attribute href. Of course, we don't need the entire text of href, right? We will use partial text. Contains href temperature. Okay. Or we can use text temperature as well. But it is recommended, you remember, right, that the text will be our last choice. If we have any other attributes, we need to follow those attributes. So,
Marina, can you put this exposed to chat, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so when I click on, and we can use the text, right? Temperature. Tab. And call this tab. We have length tab, area tab, volume, and wait and time. Okay, so we'll create a new file, which will call converter step definitions. And edit. So what will be a good name for our variable? Since we are working with tabs, right? It will be tab. And again, we need to add get driver. Since this is a new file, right? And by default, it has imported only package and this when from Cucumber library. We need to add get driver. So we can use combination of keys to add it to our imports. Oops, not the one. This one. Combination of keys, option and enter key. Okay, so we need to find the element by x value. And we need to click on that. Okay, so you see guys, if I check another tab here, right? It will have the same attribute with the text length. I will check the area. It will have the same attribute with the text. Same for the volume and weight and time. So I can make this step reusable by changing my step definition here. So the only difference will be in the value here, which is equal to my variable value. So I can use the variable value inside my XPath expression. How do I do this? Instead of this temperature, I'm going to use tab. But again, I need to follow the concatenation rules. So I will delete this, right? I will add double quotes, and I will add 2 pluses and use the variable name. And that's it. Okay, let me show you. Okay, let me close the others. Now it is recognizable here. Let me add wait time. Found this. No, of course, it will not be running because I have the error message. I can stop the execution by clicking on this red square. And now I will run it. And what about okay, it clicked. So if I change it for area now,
Melina, can I ask you? This WebDriver, it's saving with private void. Is it okay?
I didn't get your question, Galina.
Let me screen quickly.
Okay.
I did something wrong. See, I try.
No, you don't need to create a new private method. Delete this one. And you see, navigate so that it is highlighted.
Yes.
Okay, click on this one. And select, no, you need to import this.
How to do this?
Click somewhere else and wait until you need to delete this semicolon. Delete semicolon. Okay, and now click on Alt and Enter. Click Alt and Enter.
What Alt?
It is Option Enter or Alt Enter. You are Windows user or?
Yes, Windows. Alt Enter?
Yeah. Alt and Enter. 2 keys simultaneously.
Yes, I did it.
No. Again, delete this semicolon. Delete the semicolon. Okay. Put the semicolon, это точка с запятой. Удалите точку.
О, не то. Sorry.
And add the, okay, and now click again. There was an option. You are in a hurry.
The Alt Enter. Okay, it's the same. What should I do now?
Import. You have to import this method. Do it one more time so that it gets highlighted.
I don't get it actually. No, I don't get it. What should I do?
Selena, just click
from scratch. Get driver. Delete and type again. Yes.
Okay, okay.
And wait. Get driver. Don't be in a hurry. Driver. Put the parentheses. Parentheses это скобки. And now you see when you get this underlined test context, now click Alt, Enter simultaneously.
Just right now?
Ну что-то вы не так делаете, I don't know.
Ну я тоже не знаю, что не так. Уже все, крыша.
Just hold the mouse on the driver and there will be more options.
Get driver is not spelled correctly.
I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. Now,
get driver Alt plus Enter. Alt Shift Enter. Try to do Alt Shift Enter. In your case, it was prompting you to use Alt, Shift, and Enter. Combination of 3 keys. Alt, Shift, and Enter.
It's crazy.
Get driver should be properly spelled.
Oh my god.
Alt, Shift, Enter now. Use Alt, Shift, Enter.
I did it.
Alt, Shift, and
Alt, Shift, Enter. Nothing happened.
Okay, then copy and paste from your previous WebDriver feature, import. Open WebDriver feature.
Okay, let's do it later.
Open WebDriver.
I don't want it. No, not right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Galina,
I don't want to do right now.
Galina, calm down, please. And we definitely need to continue working on this scenario. Please share your screen.
No, I will do it later. I can't do it right now. Thank you. Sorry.
Sorry, Galina, you can do it through the more actions.
Yeah, you can do through the more actions, or you can copy and paste the import.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
From previous script, right?
Yes.
From test context, or you can use test context get driver, and it will be recognized. It will be imported. So different options are possible. You just need to get a habit of using combinations of keys that are really useful. All right. So what about the step that I have just created? When I click on this area, so you probably need more time, right? So that you convert this using the concatenation. I can give you more time. So we, instead of using the text here, right, we add one more time. So I will do Control Z to undo all my previous steps, right? So we are using the text of the partial link text here, right? href that contains the word temperature. But we can reuse it by putting the variable name, right, inside our XPath expression. This is also one of the reasons that we prefer to work with the XPath expressions, so that you can reuse them. Okay, so how to convert it? I delete this actual text, right? And then I need to concatenate it with the variable name. So it goes inside the quotes. So I add a pair of quotes. Then inside those quotes, I use two pluses. And between those two pluses, I will use the variable name. And now I will be able to use not only temperature, right? But I can use area, and I can use volume. Actually, any of those parts of the links. I define that the XPath expressions for all of them are the same, and they are different only by using the tab name here. Okay, let me run it one more time. No, volume. Stop. Volume. Okay, one more time. Okay, so it clicks on any of those tabs. But we are working with temperature, right? We convert the temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, temperature. Then we need to use the from. From input field, right? So let's identify this from. And it will be input field with name from val. Okay, it will be input. Name equals from val. Okay. So my next step will be and I type and we are working with strings, right? We type some string, not the actual number. Into from input field. Actually, we don't need this, just from input field. So it will be our value. From field. It will be from units, right? From units. Okay, so we will type get driver. Find element by access. And we will send keys from units. Okay, so let's see how it goes. So it types something. You can change this value, and I know that 0 Celsius will be equal to 32 Fahrenheit, right? Okay. But I need to select here the from units, right? Okay. So I will select when I select Celsius, in select from. So we have input from field and we have select from. we need to create a new step definition here. And it will be, what will be an appropriate value here? From here, I think we have to change this to num units. This is the number of units, right? Num units, and we can update it num. And here it will call from units. From units. So let's identify what is the excess for that. Can you help me, guys? I'm waiting for your input. So we definitely need to work with the select, right? Select is our tag name, and we have two elements matching with select. So we can use this ID cal from. So it will be our ID cal from. Now we narrow down our search, and then we go one level, right? And select the option. We have now 3 elements matching, right? But we need again to narrow down this option to what will be our attribute that contains our text. And text will be,
value is 1 to 3.
No, then text. We definitely need to work with the text, not value. Option that contains text. Text. And text will be our option. Selenium text. Okay, now it is selected. Alright, so again we will copy this and add it to our script. Get driver. Find element by express with this value, and we need to click on this value. Let's check it out. Okay, so it is selected and highlighted in blue. But again, we can make it reusable so that we can put our variables value in our feature, right? So same as we did with our tab name, we can change the text of the option. So again, delete this one, add double quotes, do add 2 classes, and use the variable name from unit. And now I will be able to use another Kelvin, for example. And see if it is selected. Right. So it is working, but we need Celsius. Right. So if we add from unit, select Celsius, and we need also to select the Fahrenheit. So we have the second select option where we need to click on the certain option. And then the exact number that we expect to verify will be displayed here in two input fields. Okay, let's do it. Now we need to select the option with the text that we want to convert our 0 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, let's add one more step here. When again end, I select and I need to select the value, this one. In select to. Let's add the script for this step. It will be our unit 2 or 2 unit. 2 unit. Okay, so again we need to find this expression, and it will be select ID cal2 with option text that contains text, right? Because it has not only our value, but also it shows the actual result for the conversion. So in not equal text, but option will contain text. Okay, option contain text.
Cal2 misses one code.
Right, it misses one code. And now it shows. So we can definitely use Fahrenheit here or any other name. So we definitely will select this expression, add it to our script, get driver, find element y, express.
Could you please share it in the chat?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Let me modify it first, right? Because we also can select not only this hard-coded value, right? But we will be able to modify it. So again, I will delete this text, right? And I will add double quotes, 2 plus signs, and the variable name to unit. And I post this here. All right. And our final step is to verify that the correct expected result, right, correct conversion, will be displayed in this that result is equal to 32, right? Okay, let's check it out. So it is input, name with the name to val, attribute name, okay, and you remember that if we are working with some text that is displayed in our input field, it is not the text, right? But it is the attribute. And what will be the attribute in this case?
The second part of the Fahrenheit?
No, yeah, when we, for example, here, right, you remember, and it was demonstrated here. So if I put first and last, right, and save it here, and if I inspect this field, you will see that this first and last will be displayed as the attribute value. And it will be true for any other input field where you are dealing with this input. It is not the text, it is the attribute value. So in this case, we need to get this attribute value. So let's create our step. I verify, then I verify. You can put any text here, right? Verify that result is equal to, and you put some string here. In our case, it will be 32 when we are dealing with conversion of Celsius into Fahrenheit with this input number, right? And it will be 32. All right, so we need to write the step definition code here. and it will be result. So we need to get this result, right? And again, we will be comparing the actual result that is displayed with our expected result. This will be our expected result. And we can create a new variable, string actual result. And it will be this expression, get driver, find element by xpath, no, where is our xpath expression? Here, input name to val, right? This is our input name to val. Get attribute. We need to get the attribute. And what is our attribute name, guys? Value. Okay, let's just for checking, right? System out, print actual result. Let's run it. Okay, so actual result is 32, the one that we expect. And now we just need to assert that. Assert that. And again, we need to import static method, this one, and it will be added to our imports. That actual result equals expected result. That's it. So this step, this line of code, we added just for debugging purposes to see that we are actually having this. And if we get this assert that, it will be our test results. And if it fails, right, it will be captured in our test results. And the screenshot will be taken and it will be added to all our Cucumber reports. All right. So now that's, if I get that, now it will change, but actually I can change it here as well. That and that. Okay, now it is cool. Right, now let's run it. Good. All right, now let's work with lengths, right? So if I change lengths, and if I type 1 here and change this meter, and I will select here kilometer, right? Then what will it be? Actually, vice versa, kilometer here and meter here, so that I know the result, right? Kilometer. And meter here. And I know that it will be 1,000. Okay, and I can now change time. Let's say 1 hour. And here I will have minutes. And I will check that it is 60. No? What's wrong with this? Minutes. Maybe it is minutes. Minutes. Just 1 minute. Not the minutes, but minutes. Therefore, it cannot identify the correct expense. Now, right now it is good. So guys, this is how it works. Next time we will try to create the outline for this with examples, and if you can try to do it on your own. So your home task for today, guys, will be to work with this get a quote page, and you created different scenarios using Cucumber, predefined steps, right? So convert those into your own code using Java and WebDriver methods. Okay? Alright, guys. So I will now finish our class, and I will send the link for your questions. Okay? I will meet you in a couple of minutes.
Galina, I have a question not related to the class.
Okay.
Are we having class tomorrow?
Yes, we are having class tomorrow.
And then 4 days?
And then 4 days will be the usual holidays.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, guys. See you in a couple of minutes.